All right, guys, today we are creating a winter project. We are going to be making a cardinal that's sitting on some evergreen branches. So you are going to get a purple piece of paper that looks like this with a curved line that is already drawn on it for you. We are going to turn this curved line into the face of our cardinal. You also need a brown rectangle paper, and that's going to be the branches. So for this video, I am going to be drawing in a white pastel. You are going to be drawing in a pencil so that you can erase if you need to. At the top of your curved line, you are going to draw a zigzag line that is about maybe like one of your hands. So if you kind of spread your hands out like this, you want it to be about that long. So almost half of your circle. So zigzag line, and this is the back of the cardinal's head. And then at the bottom of that zigzag line, I'm just gonna curve like that. So that's the back of his body. We're gonna pretend that it goes off the page like that. On the curved side of your half circle, we're gonna draw his beak. So 2 diagonal lines and a line in the middle. And then cardinals have a mask, like a black kind of mask shape around their face. So we're gonna draw a backwards letter C around where his eye is gonna go. And then the last thing is we're gonna draw a circle for his eye. Okay, so now my cardinal is all drawn. We're gonna paint him in just a second, but next we're gonna move on to the branches. So now you're gonna get your brown piece of paper and you are gonna turn it the tall way, like this. Then you are going to pinch your fingers at the top and you're gonna start tearing some strips of paper like this. And they can be different shapes and sizes. It's okay if it rips in half or if it gets really skinny, because these are gonna be the branches and you want them to look kind of fuzzy like this on the edges. That's why we're tearing our paper. So you're gonna just keep tearing up your paper until you have some strips for branches, okay? And then some of your papers you can rip in half and make smaller branches to go on your bigger branches. Okay, so I want at least one branch at the bottom for him to stand on. So I'm gonna get my glue, dot, dot, not a lot, and one branch is gonna go at the bottom of your paper. Okay, then the rest of your branches you can put wherever you want, just like he's sitting in a tree. So maybe I wanna put, this would be kind of cool if I put a branch going diagonal so it looks like it's a real tree branch. Maybe I want to put a branch up here at the top of my paper. And I'm just going to keep on adding some branches so it really looks like he's in a tree. You can make your branches shorter so they can go off the page a little bit. If you have a piece like this that's sticking off of your page, you can just trim it off when you're done. Okay, next we're gonna paint our cardinal. So we're gonna start with some red paint and we're gonna paint his body all red. So I like to outline my shapes first, like this, and kind of cover up my pencil line. And then I like to fill in the big spaces in between, and that just kind of helps me go faster. So we're not gonna paint that mask on his face, that's gonna be black. And for your zigzags, make sure you outline your zigzags so that you can see the fuzzy feathers on his back. Whoops, and I dripped some red paint on his mask, but that's okay because we'll cover it up in a second. All right, so now I'm gonna use my orange paint and my black paint to paint his mask and his beak. So we're gonna use our orange paint first to paint in his beak. And I am outlining my shape first, just like I did with the red, and then filling it in. Okay, and then the last part we're gonna do is his mask. So I cleaned off my brush on a paper towel, and now I'm going to paint his mask with black, but I'm going to leave his eye blank because we're gonna do his eye next time. So with your black paint, outline the shape. I'm also gonna outline around his eye. So I know that that is gonna stay blank for now. Then I'm gonna fill in the rest with black. All right, so this is all we're gonna do for today. So when you're finished with your cardinal, you can put him on the drying rack and then clean up your area. All right, guys, so today we are going to finish our cardinal painting. Last time we made our branches and we painted our cardinal bird. So today we're gonna stamp some pine needles for the evergreen tree, and we're also gonna add some berries in our tree. And then the last thing we're gonna do is outline our cardinals and add some details to him. So to make your evergreen pine needles, you are going to need a piece of cardboard. We're gonna use the green paint on your table. So I'm just gonna dip my cardboard into the paint like this. And then everywhere I see a branch, I'm gonna stamp needles coming out from the side of the branch. So I'm just gonna go 1, 2, 3, and just keep on stamping all over my branch. And it looks like an evergreen branch. And I want to stamp a lot of pine needles because if I just stamp like 1 or 2, that doesn't really look like a real evergreen tree. So I'm going to fill in my branch and make sure I have a lot of pine needles on there. So when you're doing your pine needles, you want to make sure to get the top of the branch and underneath the branch, because in nature, pine needles grow all around the branch, not just on the top. Okay, so I think I have plenty of pine needles on here, so now I'm gonna add my little berries. So I cut out these little circles for you, and you can just kind of decide where you want your berries to go. So wherever you want to put a berry, you're just going to put a little dot of glue. So if I want one right there, I'm just going to put a dot and then put a berry on top. Okay, so there's my berries. Next, I'm going to add some details on my cardinal bird. So I have a white pastel, a red pastel, and a black pastel. So first thing we're gonna do is make his eyeball. So first I'm gonna color this circle that I left last time all the way in with white. So I don't wanna see any purple paper showing through. And then on top of my white circle, I'm gonna add a little black circle and color that in. So there's my little cardinal's eye. Next, I want to use my red pastel to add some texture on his on his feathers. So for this, we're gonna draw a little letter U's on his body. So it looks like he has feathers. And you can add some on his head also. If you don't want to add letter U's, you could do little dash lines, or you could do both like I'm doing. Okay, and then the last thing we're gonna do is outline with our white pastel. So I'm gonna trace around my whole entire cardinal bird so that we can see him really well and we can see his feathers that we made last time. And he stands out on this purple background. Then the last thing we're gonna do is add some snow in the sky. So for this part, we're gonna use the eraser of a pencil. And if your pencil doesn't have an eraser, it will still work. So like this one is totally flat, but I can still use it to stamp. So I'm gonna dip the back of my pencil in the white paint, and then we're just gonna do some little dots of snow all over our background. All right, and there is our finished cardinal bird. So since we got paint on these pencils, we do not want to put them back in our buckets. We're gonna put these pencils in the sink so that I can clean them for the next class. So when you're finished, you can put your cardinal on the drying rack and clean up your area.